Hello, my fellow apathetic pediatricians who don't seem to believe in mental health. I'm Mr. Church. Today we're going to be building a nice little base here, just near the Kanawana Nuka-Cola plant in Poseidon Energy. Now there's this massive bridge here, and I've always wanted to build here, but I never did. Want to know why? Because I have ADHD, and I forgot it existed. Now, first we're going to push this thing out of the way, and we're going to build a little staircase out of footlockers to get up in the back corner. Now, what I recommend doing is not following a tutorial that I make, because what I do is I build something and then I redo it 45 times instead of just building it correctly the first time. And because I'm a professional, I leave the footage in instead of redoing it, even though it would have taken 7 seconds to do it correctly, and I could have just recorded the clip of me doing that. I chose not to, for no reason in particular. So as you can see, I put it on this rug, and that rug is important because all the footlockers and anything of value that you want to put on this pre-existing wooden platform kind of wants to sink down into it for literally no reason. So it's helpful to build on carpets if you can get a carpet down in the first place. This daisy rug is already here, so I've been building on top of that. Seems to be fine. But anyway, once you put it in position in this corner here, we should have some stairs you can just walk up. And now we're going to put a foundation in this corner here, snug against it and as square as you can, but not as square as Minecraft. That's asking too much. And what we're going to do is just make sure a wall will fit in the sides of there so you're not too close to it. And then we're going to throw a door on. Now, because of the existing structure, we're going to have to use these powered doors because they're the only doors where the door is actually on the side of the wall instead of directly in the center of it. So we're going to pick the one that does not have the keypad because that would be atrocious and would require us remembering a single 4 digits number, and I can't be asked to do that. Now I'm going to put on some catwalks on the side here and then snap downward backwards walls to create underpinnings, and these are helpful because you can cover up the foundation, or you can even wallpaper them if you want. I'm not going to wallpaper this build because it's really scrappy, and I'm also going to cover up that little corner area later on with brambles. Now, we're going to use the new greenhouse set because just looking at it is enough to make a grown man cream his pants. But we're not going to get into the details of the anatomy required for that one. Instead, we're going to start worrying about where we're going to want the roof to go. And then we're going to put it in there, even though we're probably going to change it later. Now I'm on the inside. I'm going to cover up this area with some simple wood chunks. We want this to look scrappy, and we also want it to blend in with what's already there. Now I'm going to do something here to I'm going to put a roof in, which will allow us to delete that bottom half wall because the roof is holding up the top one. And now we can see the scrappy wall through there. So what I'm going to do, take the roof out for now, and we have this floating half wall there. And we're going to put one of these underneath it, and that'll allow us to see the scrappiness of the wood textures, but it'll cover up that little area there on the edge, and it'll help kind of create some scrappiness, so it's not all repeating patterns of the wall shapes and whatnot that we're so used to. Now, to add to the texturizing, I'm going to do something else here. I'm going to take these they're boards that you get with a haunted house bundle, and these are for putting over like windows and stuff, and they'll go on the outside of like the studs of the wall here. But if you want to shove it actually into the wall deeper than that to create more like boarded textures and whatnot, you can actually just create a blueprint like this, and I'm going to name it something really important and something that means something valuable to me. So wood, and then I'm going to hit R, and then I'm just going to pick one of these suggested words because I don't want to type out a word. And that's because I'm using a controller when I'm doing this, because building without a controller in this game is very difficult because you can't make minute adjustments from left to right without actually screeching and pooping your pants. Now take the wood ruined, which is what I named it in my infinite wisdom and ability to think of words quickly, which I just used in that sentence there as well. And you can actually shove this much deeper into the wall, and that'll create this nice texture. And the texture is good. The texture is great. And I'm actually about to run out of breath, and my lungs they're completely gone. There's no air left, but I'm going to keep talking. The video isn't over yet. Just brace yourself. Let me just take a breath. Make sure you take short, shallow breaths, by the way, if you're ever running out of air. Now here we have Jug's Rug. It's a special concept. You place down something, you attach a wire, and then you move the rug one time, place it down, and then after that, you can move the rug wherever you want. This is how we've hooked up the front door to that generator up there, which will allow us to get in and out of there by the flip of a switch. Now these middle encampment bridges can't be placed down except snapped to the end pieces, but I really want to use them. So what I'm going to do is make another blueprint here, which will allow us to place the middle encampment pieces down wherever we want without needing the support. So to do that, just blueprint 2 of them along with some floor item, which will place down wherever you want it to. And then I'm going to name this one, for literally and absolutely no reason, Jimmy's Mischief. And I don't know who Jimmy is, and I don't know how this is mischievous, but then we're just going to get rid of this stuff here, and now you can place down the blueprint wherever you please, as long as that carpet piece will go somewhere. The other pieces will float in the air and do whatever. Before we put that in, I want to have some stairs on the end of it. So to do that, and this is kind of weird, you kind of sometimes have to work backwards when you're building in this game because of build order. But we want stairs on the end of the encampment bridges that are going to be there. So I put a temporary foundation, but in fact, I'm going to use a porch foundation because foundation stairs for no reason will snap higher up on those. So then I'm going to grab the crappy foundation stairs, which are made out of junk. And then I can delete this because there's other foundations back there. And that makes no sense, but it's part of the game. Now, once we put a doorway in, I'm going to pick one that is thin so that we can get this as close to the wall as possible without any interference. So we're just going to do that, just pull it in, just pull it in. And I know that we like to use the pull-in method here, but I don't want you to think too much about it. Now, you can just slap it down, try to get it as even as possible, and then once that's done, you can kind of start like screeching like a behemoth and yodeling to the mountaintops. Why would you want to do either of those two things? Well, that's one of the mating rituals, and you're playing 76, and I assume you're going to need a mating ritual pretty soon. Now, I'm going to do a special little trick that I got the idea of this from looking at one of Nightcrawler's camps. I saw it in game, and I think he also has, has a video on it, but I'm going to link his channel in the description. But he used some tables sunk into the foundation as sort of like a platform that he had put plants on, and I thought it was a really cool idea. And to kind of expand on that, I want to make an entire floor out of like a table. So I found this like crappy table. It's actually supposed to be nice, but it's unfinished and has this rough wood look, which is what I want. And I'm gonna like get these all lined up on top of this foundation so that they'll fill all the space. And I'm gonna get them as close to each other as possible. There are purposeful gaps in there because I do want it to look kind of scrappy and thrown together. And once I get these in, I'm going to take the foundation and using the foundation sinking merge, I'm going to sink these all down into the foundation. And I have used the plantable, farmable tile so that the parts that are visible will have like dirt beneath them. So it will kind of look like we just threw these boards across the ground as part of the floor. We want this to look homemade. So just stand as close to the corner as you can and then just pull it up the hill and it'll sink down. Be very careful, you don't go too far or you'll have to start over. And in this case, you don't want to start over because that will require storing the foundation, and then you'll have to remerge all the tables as well, which is really, there's no other word for it, annoying as fuck. Now, we can get this in here. You will need to get rid of the walls first, because build order matters for no reason. And of course that means we'll have to put that wood ruined blueprint back into the wall there, and I just fell off, and then just pull it towards you, and you can place it in. You can see how it goes in best. Try where you want the walls, and if they don't go in, just turn it. And I think also that barrel there is getting in the way, but we don't need to worry about that. It's green, but that won't go because of the barrel. But we can fix that. We can fix it perfectly. There, everything's fine. There, things are good. Now let's put there. And some windows. And the wall. Okay, now, I was definitely on autopilot for the last few minutes. I have no idea what I just said. I apologize. I just zoned out. I didn't disassociate fully, so that's a win in my book. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to put a small little floor trap here, and I'm going to put a carpet over top of it. Now, we're going to use a concept here a couple of times in a few different ways, using a destroyed base that has wires connected on it. If you have something that's holding up a conduit that gets destroyed and there's a wire attached to it, the wire will remain. So using this idea, I'm going to create some wires for kind of like a barbed wire fence type of look. But not barbed wire, just kind of wires hanging around. So I'm going to create wires on these conduits on the poles. When I destroy the trap, it'll destroy the carpet. The carpet will disappear, the posts will disappear, and the conduits will disappear, but the wires will remain. So that's the idea, and it's a lot of work for very little reward in this scenario, but I'll show in a few minutes another thing you can do using this same idea, and there's lots of implications for using this idea as well. There's other things you can do with it. But anyway, we're going to do this. We're going to throw this over here, and I'm going to just show you the concept, and it's not going to be exact, but I'll fix it. And I'm not going to make you watch all that, because there's a lot of little adjustments you'll have to make. But anyway, you'll have this hideous thing set up like this, and you want to make sure everything's on the carpet. And when you trigger the trap, it'll fling you, and it'll also see how everything's gone. So now when you attach wires, and you're going to attach them like this, when you trigger the trap, now the wires will remain, but everything else disappears. So we're going to use that concept, and then you can throw in the posts like this. So I'm just going to go, and I'm going to turn the middle two posts so that the wires come closer together, because as you can see, they're not close enough for the center post to touch the wire on both sides. But then I'm going to do it again. It's just a matter of moving things around, and this is just one application. You can make rope ladders, you can make more fancy wire fences, you can make lots of things with just wires floating in the middle of nowhere. So I'll redo that, and you won't have to watch me, but I'm going to show you another thing you can do with this same concept. So I have over here a toilet, and I want it to look like it's hanging from a wire. So to do this, what I need to do is get the lantern directly under where the wire will be sitting. And someone came and looked at me, which made me nervous. But anyway, I soldiered on even though I was messing around with a toilet, and there was lots of poop stains in the toilet, which is disgusting. So I'll just edit that out and blur it. Maybe we can put one of those censored boxes over it so you don't have to see that. Now, what we're going to do is, as you can see, if I have this here with a wire attached, if I destroy that conduit on the bottom, the wire will disappear. I actually need to destroy what the conduit is sitting on, so the wire will still be attached. So I'm going to put a dartboard on the wall. You can use a sign as well, as long as it's something that you can hit with a flame trap or have someone destroy for you. Now, I'm going to take the flamer, and I got to get up to a height where it can burn it. And so just take a cabinet or something, and then you can kind of line it up so that that'll burn the edge of that dartboard. It looks like it's missing it completely. That's good. I love that. That's awesome. Someone once freaked out at me and said they would never talk to me again because I stored the flamethrower trap every time I used it, and they were like, why did you do that? But as you can see, we're in build mode now, but if you're outside of it, that just has a wire hanging down, which is what we want. Anyway, I said I'd store it because over time the flamethrower trap uses durability, and then you have to repair it. So every time I'm done with it, I store it to make it stop burning and also to heal it for next time. If that answer was not satisfactory, I apologize. Join the club, but that's okay. Everyone has their weird quirks when they're building. Like I've seen some people will start screeching and yodeling, and I've seen other people will throw their controller at the TV and destroy it, like Francis. And I've seen other people will just uninstall the game and never play it again. That's another funny building quirk you can have, which is, understandable and fair. Everyone plays the game a different way, and that's how they want to play it, and that's something that's kind of cool about gaming. But anyway, you have this really nice effect of a lantern hanging down. Did you just see what just happened? Put a carpet on the bottom of things if you want to put them here, because the bottom item will snap down for no reason. Now, here I have defensive ladders. These are barbed wire fences. And what I'm actually doing is I am going to try to make a ladder with these. But as you can see, if I pick up the bottom one, the whole stack doesn't come with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blueprint them while they're stacked like this. Now to get them stacked like that, you just spam click down without moving the controller or mouse or whatever you're using whatsoever, and they will go down in exactly the same space. Now when you have this blueprint, which I named ladder, you can place it down in one slap. Like, I'm going to just make sure it works before continuing onward. So just place it down like you would just get in there, and I'll place it down to see if it works. And it might not be the best ladder, but we don't have ladders in this game. So we kind of have to make stuff up. You can use the conduit ladders, that's another one. And you can make ladders using the wires that same trick, just put conduits on some signs and burn the signs. But I wanted to try something a little new and a little different, so I made a ladder with these fences. And it's a kind of wide ladder, but I think that it at least sells the idea of a ladder enough to work. And what I'm doing here, by the way, is I burned that side thing and I changed the wall, just so I can get this closer to the wall, because I don't want the ladder to be like floating around, since I can't like make it look like it's leaning against the wall. I want it to look like it's affixed to the wall at least, so it makes sense that it's like at a 90-degree angle. And then I can just replace this window with something like that. I don't know. It adds some texture. It adds something. I don't know. I like it. I'm going to re-burn that one on the right there because it kind of blends in with the bottom of the ladder, and I don't want the ladder to be inside that wall piece. And I'll just leave the edges, because why not? It's kind of chunky. Now, I'm going to make a little seat for this coffin. I put 2 benches on it, and I'm going to sink them down till the benches are completely obscured. I'm going to sink it 1 or 2 more, and you can still sit on it. But I want to make sure they're facing the right direction before I finish building it. That's always a plus. Now, I want to get this sleeping bag on this couch, but I can't place it on the back of it because it's floating. If I put another one there, though, I can place it on the back of it. So I'm going to do that. And I want to add some little note, by the way. I didn't mention this, but there's 2 raiders that spawn here that are static spawns in every world. If you are not allied to them, you will have to kill them both when you come into the world. But if you want to become allied to the raider, not, and I say allied, I just mean peaceful, where they won't shoot you on sight, which is just the first rank up of the I don't know what it's called, but anyway, if you just do 2 moonshine jamborees, you will not be hostile to them anymore. So just keep that in mind if you want to build here and you're hostile to them, but you don't want to do all that stupid rose shit with in the meg stuff and the questing, because maybe you're on another character that you don't want to bother with that. But anyway, this is the finished product, and I actually really like how it turned out. I have the spike board covering the hole in the bridge just for some crappiness. And over here, as you can see, I became allied to these raiders, or at least not hostile to them anymore. And she's kind of rude. So, sometimes he's worse, but he stands inside of your items, which is fine. She has an addiction to opening the door here, so just keep that in mind. But anyway, I was able to put some stuff on these shelves. A lot of stuff didn't want to go on the shelves. It just depends on what it is. Just try different things, swear a lot, and scream, and eventually something will happen. Usually nothing good, though. Now, out here, just going to show you what I mean. I'll close that, and she immediately opens it. And then I'll close it again. And let's see how long it takes before she opens it. Are you busy now? Are you working? No, don't do that. We can be better than, you know, just everyone's got their own struggles, and hers are, I don't know. So you just can open this door here with a flip of a switch, and as you can see, it'll come right in. That barricade will spawn in the same spot whenever you hop servers, but as long as you can still get up the stairs, it's okay, and it's going to be in a different place for you than for other people, so don't even bother like trying to move it and stuff. And there she goes. There she goes again. Oh my god.
Out here building this shit. I ain't no grunt.
Just keep it shut. Anyway, inside I have used these. I love these glass walls. The way that you can open the windows on them, it just adds so much to the build. And it really helps you become, like, it kind of helps you immerse yourself in the world a lot more while you're inside your structure. I can't really explain it any better than that, which is pretty depressing. But I hope you know what I mean. Now inside here, I want to add also, do not put wallpaper on the inside of the doorway after you have put that whole conduit hanging wire thing down, or it will store that conduit and stuff because the game is stupid. Now over here I have some, I changed this out. I put a half wall in there and burned it, and then I put another half wall on top of it, and the one I burned was the log one. This adds just some texture, and then I changed the roof so that the smoke would be coming out of that open pane. Just a little added detail to add some realisticness, I guess. I mean, it's not a great safety feature. There's still going to be smoke in here. But it is kind of a neat thing you can do. And there she goes, for fuck's sake, opening the fucking door. I think she just walks back and forth and hammers the 2 walls, and that's why she's just doing that. Anyway, outside here, I put some studs in the floor here. Those are just punji boards that I sank down into the foundation a little bit. And then out here, I put a farmable tile. It'll snap right through these encampment floors, and it creates this nice little, like, there's piles of dirt on here, which adds a lot of little texture to the build. And I changed, of course, this wall to the brick one. I think it adds a lot, and it helps you see that lantern a lot better than when it was the glass one. And then here I have redone these fence pieces so they all make sense. And I've put a plant inside of this jukebox, and there's a dead body in this wheelbarrow. Over here, I have calamari. His name is Mary, so I always say it wrong. Anyway, over here is the this bottle, and the reason why is right over there is the Nuka-Cola plant. So I thought it would make sense if we like stole a mascot that was over there. That would make sense to be a junk item in this camp just because of the location. The scrap box, I try to hide it as best I could because it does not go with a build, but I kind of want it in my camp. I also only put a weapons bench in this build because I really don't use any other ones except for the Tinker's Bench, which I have on my Fallout First tent. But you can throw whatever workbenches you need around here. It's kind of easy to make those blend in with a scrappy build like this because those are all pretty scrappy in nature. Up here, the ladder is so that we can get up to this rooftop garden, which is just another way we can blend the structure with the foliage around us and help it blend in with the world a little bit. It might not make sense for the raiders to have gardens, but I don't know. Just because you like blasting people's heads off and stealing their shit doesn't mean you don't like beauty. So here it is. You can still sit on these benches, even though they're sunken in all the way to not be visible at all. And there's not even clipping with the legs or anything. It actually worked out really well. I was surprised. Merging and stuff is all experimental. You just start mushing stuff together that's not intended to be, and then sometimes it works out okay. But also sometimes it looks like shit. You have to admit it. Sometimes it does. But I have some random shit up here, and then there's just this ladder area and whatnot. But anyway, thank you so much to my patrons and channel members for your support. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for subscribing and for commenting and for being part of my Discord community. I also have a Twitch, and if you want to watch me play games live, go follow me on there. I will see you guys in the next video, and safety first.